Welcome everybody. Today's video finds us over here in Buriram, and we're up here at a UNESCO World Heritage Site. We're on this extinct volcanic peak. We're up 402 meters above the valley floor, and we're going to take a look at Prasat Phanom Rung. This is a Hindu temple that was dedicated to Shiva, and the site itself represents, I think, Krishna or something like that. And we're going to walk through here. We're going to take a look at it. It was built originally in phases. It started in like the 10th century, and then it ended in the 13th century under the reign of King Jayavarman VII, the Khmer king. So anyway, this is a fantastic ruin. I've been here many times, and I always enjoy coming here. So let's walk through here and let's take a look and see what we see. And when you come up, you have two different parking lots. This one over here is free. They have another one that's right near the entrance. They have a little bit of shopping that's right here, the museum, the ticket gate. You may get lucky and have these two dogs hanging out over here. Now you can see out here in the trees, the volcanic rock and stuff like that, because this was a volcanic peak. So it looks like the museum here is open from 8:30 to 4:30. Okay, so in here, you could take photos, but you can't touch any of the displays. Oh, this is really, really cool. This was closed the last time I came up here. It is a Shiva temple, so you have the bull, and then you have the Shiva linga here. And this is really some cool stuff. Check this out right here. This is a stone carving. It's Kavura mounted on Gajisama region of the north. So this is 12th century. You can even see the little nostrils carved in the figure. And then the lotus flower up here. And this looks like the head was broken off, but you can still see all the teeth, all the detail work here. This is another 12th century carving here. These were all found here at Phanom Rung. And check out this elephant. Oh, that's really, really amazing. You had to do a little restoration there on the back, but the rest of it's all original. So this is 12th century also. So this is Airavata, conveyance of Indra. Oh, this is beautiful here. So this is a pediment. So this is what you'd have seen up above one of the doors. This was found in Buriram Province. This is 11th century. They found it at Buriram Province, which I don't know where that is. But what a beautiful piece. The stone carvings is just absolutely amazing. Now this is something you normally don't see when you're out and about here. You know, you see all the stones and the ruins, but here's some of the pottery, which this is a beautiful piece here also. You don't think of the Khmer with pottery, but it looks like it's all glazed and fired. Oh, really nice. Yeah, this is definitely worth looking at. Little buffalo there. Yeah, last time I came, this was closed, so it's a real treat to see this today. They even have a prehistoric skeleton that they found in this region. This one's like 1,500 to 2,000 years old. And they talk about discovery of it, a little bit of stuff. Prasat Hin. So this is pretty interesting here. This lintel is from that Prasat Hin, and they found it in a foreign museum, and it was repatriated here to this museum from the United States. But you can see right here, this is the Yama riding on a buffalo above the Kala, which the Thais call that the monster that ate the moon. And they call it the Kala here. Yeah, this is a great little museum here. All the data plates are in English and in Thai, so you can read a little bit about them. How cool is that, Shiva? This is a gate guardian, the Davara Pala. This was found here. This is from the 12th century also. You see what it had, the necklace. Yeah, really cool. Okay, so here's the rates to the park. So it's, what is that, 30 baht for the Thais and 20 baht if they go just to this site. And it's 100 baht for here and 150 if you want to go to the Mung Tam, the lower city also. And it's worth your time if you want to go down there and check it out. Okay, here's your ticket check. And we'll go up into here. And they have these laterite stones to get up here. Now, if you could imagine in the old days, they would have had these stairwells made out of laterite stones and sandstone coming all the way from the valley floor up to here. This would have been a pilgrimage site. So the Hindus would have came up here and they would have prayed. It would have been a tremendous hike from the bottom up to here. It's kind of cool. The cactus is growing up here, different trees. You can see the volcanic rock. Now the volcano's been dormant just for a couple years, I think 900,000. So I'm worried it may actually erupt today. Check out that, that's the little pedestal. So they had a Shiva linga on the top of that. They would have poured the water on it, part of their little ceremony. And this is the view you have right here from the top of that little hill. So this is the royal walkway. So the royals would have walked down there to the shrine. And then over here in the trees is I think this was like a changing room for the royals over here. So this is the changing pavilion. So this is 13th to 15th century. So the royals would have came here and they would have changed in this building before going down that little walkway that you see. So this is the laterite stone with the carved sandstone up there. And it would have probably had like a wooden roof over the top of it that's long gone. And you see it has the sandstone columns there. And they carved all of this laterite. Just really cool. And you see it even had a perimeter wall here. Most of it's gone, but you can see how it would have looked right there. It would have had those little curved pieces of stone up on the top. And those are quite large too, those pieces of stone. And that's just right here on the top of the hill. And you can see the doorway is sandstone, and then the naga is sandstone. And then they have like those little lotus flower things across the top. And then they have another layer here of sandstone. And those holes are what they use to move those pieces around. And they would have carved all of them. That's kind of war, but you can see how they would have carved it over here. And then in the Khmer styling with the faux door, you can see how that's carved and how war that sandstone is. So they would have carved the whole way across there. Really cool. All right, so let's walk down here now. This royal procession right here is 160 meters long and 9.2 meters wide. And they have the laterite stones and sandstone right here. And then on the side right here are these little pieces of sandstone sticking up. They call them Sao Nang Riang. And this is a lotus bud on the top. And you see this at a lot of these Khmer shrines like this, and they're really interesting to see. So the royals would have came off the top of that hill over there that have changed, and then they would have walked down here. And there would have been flagpoles and everything else along the way. And we'll see some of those up here when we get on the Naga bridges. Yeah, so these things right here are 1,000 years old. They would have, during the restoration, they would have set them up. There might have been some still upright, but probably they were in bad condition. I've seen some old pictures of this site before the restoration, and it was pretty rough looking. The Thai government has done a really nice job with preservation of this. Okay, so we're here at the first Naga bridge, and you can see the styling right here. So they carved every square inch of everything here. That's what I really like about this. They carved all around here. They carved all of these Naga rails, the tails, the Naga heads themselves. These guys just banged away with their little hammers and chisels for years. Now up here, I think this is a lotus flower that's in the floor, and you can still make it out. Yeah, but this is amazing. So they built these bridges, they raised them up. You can see how they're on those little like cuboid things, and then they carved them. So they built this as a bridge up high, and then they built the walkway. They hauled all these stones in and everything else. So this is the 8-petaled lotus flower. And that's the original. They got it cordoned off so you can't walk over the top of it. I think these little square holes here were for like the flagpoles, because they would have used this for ceremonies. And there would have been flagpoles here, and they would have had all kinds of stuff going on. Okay, so let's go up here and we'll go into the ceremony, or the sanctuary itself. You can see this is all carved here. Oh, this is just, the amount of work they put into this just blows my mind. And those there, they believe, were also used for the flags. And all this sandstone brought in. Oh, the amount of work. Those guys just chiseled, hauled stone their whole lives. Well, not their whole lives. They'd been working out in the rice paddies and everything else. And then on the non-farming time over here, working on these. Okay, so we're up the stairs. And this is the central sanctuary here. Got a little place over here to sit and relax, because it is hot coming up here. And you see the little pools up here. I think those were like little pools they used in their ceremonies to like wash their feet and stuff like that. I'm not exactly sure, but I believe that's what they used them for. So the entry into this is another Naga bridge. So this is shaped like a cruciform, or a crucifix, and it has 5-headed Nagas over here. And then here's another one of the lotus buds. And then check this out. So we have the lintel and the pediment, all the carvings, and you see the Naga there. And then check out that little arched walkway. It has those little things that kind of look like a bullet up on the top. Ah, just beautiful. And all that is sandstone. And it has the faux doors, the faux windows, all the normal stuff you see with Khmer architecture. And then they carved everything here. So there's another one of those monsters that ate the moon, as the Thais call it, the Ruku. We saw one of those down there. It looks like a couple of the dragon-headed horse things. And then inside also, more of the carvings. And it's kind of dark in here. You can smell the guano from the bats. And over here, this is a Shiva linga inside of here, or the pedestal for the Shiva linga anyway. And you can see the construction. So that's the corbelled arch, which is what the Khmer used. They didn't use a traditional arch, like a Roman-style arch, in their temple construction. I think there's one like at Previet, but most of the time they use the corbelled arch. All right, so this is inside the sanctuary now. So you have different buildings that were built in different eras. Some of them they use brick over there, some of them they use sandstone. Then you have laterite stones over here. This is like a library. And then this is a small little Naga bridge right here also. So you can see the stone carvings here. And then you have the reclining Vishnu. That's right there. And then the pediment is the Shiva Nataraja. It's kind of hard to see from this angle. Oh, but the floral pattern, just that carving is spectacular. They had to do quite a bit of restoration there to kind of piece it back together. And then you have the little Naga bridge here. Oh, this is a worthwhile temple to come see. Even if you're not into the old temples like this, just to come and see the stone carvings, it's worth your time for sure. So I came over here in the corner, so you can see the pediment there. You can see that arch over the top of that walkway. Then they used the laterite and the sandstone. And they would have had little columns in there. You can see the notches. Those would have been those little round columns that would have been in there, but they're all gone. You can see them over here in these windows. They would have had smaller ones up there. But how cool is that? And it's all topped with a lotus bud way up there. And they would have hoisted that up somehow, and that would have weighed many tons. And they'd have hoisted it up to the top. Just spectacular. And you can see how the bricks hold up here in this tropical weather. The bricks just basically turn to dust after a few centuries. The sandstone weathers, the laterite weathers, but it holds up a lot better. This would have been the water. The water would have ran out this. That's kind of cool. I never noticed this before. So they would have had the Shiva linga inside, and then the water would have came out of the channel through that. Really spectacular. All the naga, all the imagery, the pediments here, the lintels, these stone window columns. Now, if anybody knows how they made those, if they had some kind of a lathe that would turn those, or if they chiseled them by hand, I don't know. I would really like to know about the construction of that. So here's the Ravana abducting Sita. That's the scene up there. You can see some more of the stone carvings. Like I said, they carved every surface. They even had these little lodis down here at the bottom. They carved all of these pieces of sandstone. And there's the Shiva, the bull of Shiva, and another one of the little lotus flowers. And then up here, these are the 5 yodis. And then inside is the Shiva linga. They're calling it the Garbharagata. And so they would have poured the water on it, and then this would have been the channel to take the water out of here. And that would have went out there to that we saw outside. The construction of this is just amazing. They didn't have computer programs to do all their planning. They had to write it down, think of it up in their brains, and then come out here and construct it. And then you'd had a guy that would have came up with the pattern here and would have sat there and chiseled it by hand, and that's what you get. So 1,000 to 1,300 years later, we get to walk through here and enjoy what that guy did centuries ago. And another lintel right here. So this is Indra, son of Ravana. So he's shooting an arrow that turned to be a naga rope, is what it says, the Indrat battle. And then another little building here. You can see one of the standing door guardians. They have another one that's over there in the museum. So there used to be 2 on the entrances all around. And then right here is another lintel that is the fighting between Krishna and Singha. If you're a Hindu, you would know all about those. And then they have another little building over here. You can see more of the stone carvings. And another one of the lintels. So this is what they call the Prang Noi. This is a Hindu sanctuary here. You can see, they said that the top was probably not finished. It's open, so they put that pro panel up there. And then it has the faux entrances, the naga carved, everything else. Then we have the little opening here. Really cool. So this will lead out to the other parking lot. So there's the entrances on the 4 cardinal directions. Now, if you come up here down the equinox, the sun will rise, and everybody wants to get a picture because it comes right through all of these doorways at a certain time of year. Okay, so they have a sign right here. It's in Thai. So this is when the sun comes right through the entrances. It goes through all the doors. And there's a huge crowd. I've seen pictures. There's a big crowd that gets over here to see it. So this is the outside here. And then over here is the parking and the valley view. This is looking down into the valley. So you can see we're 402 meters up. And then if you want to pay, this is 100 baht to park over here, and you can just walk right into the sanctuary from this parking spot. And then they have a couple of the Khmer lions right here. Really spectacular. You can see it's a nice little green spot so the Thais can come over here. They sit around underneath the trees. The whole family comes. They can kind of enjoy this right here. It's right in their backyard. Let's take one more look inside, and that'll be the last we look at here. This is the inside again. One last look here. All those pediments, everything else up there. Just the amount of work. They hauled those stone in, they quarried them, they brought them in, and then they put them in place and they chiseled them and made it look like this. Yeah, not too bad for 1100, 1200 years ago, huh? Those old timers knew what they were doing. Yeah, really amazing. Well, that'll finish up our video over here at this fantastic sanctuary, this Phanom Rung. I would definitely recommend, if you're over here in Buriram, come check it out. I've been here many, many times, and I'll come back again. I really like this. It's definitely worth a special trip if you're wondering what to do in Thailand. Come over here, check this out. You won't be disappointed. And there's other things to see. If you come over here, you can go down to the lower city. I've been there before, and it's pretty cool. This is the better one of the two. So if you only have limited time, come here and see it. But I would definitely say do both if you can. And there's several other, like the hospital temples and stuff like that in the region. This was an important area for the Khmer. So come over here, check this out. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and then you get to see more stuff like this. I show you a little bit about what I see here in Thailand or everywhere else I travel. Tell you a little bit about what I know. I'm no expert. If I made a mistake, I'm sorry. You can correct me in the comments down below. And leave me a comment too about if you have any questions or if you've been here, let me know. And until next time, from over here in Buriram, remember, life is a journey. Until next time, enjoy.